What's going on, guys? It's Frager here again, and today I'm going to be doing another village transformation. So I did decide to take a little break from the map remakes this week and focus on something a little bit different. And for this village transformation, I'm going to be transforming a Taiga village, because last time I transformed a plains village, and that's pretty much the only village type that I've ever done, so I do want to branch out and transform this Taiga village. This one's going to be a little bit tricky, however, because I haven't really built in this Taiga style before, and I don't want my houses to be the same standard design that I've used in my other village transformations. But before we get into this transformation, if you have not already, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. It really helps me out a lot, especially with the algorithm and trying to get this video to a much wider audience. And if you guys want to interact with me or my community outside of YouTube, then make sure to join my Discord server link down in the description. But with that being said, let's get right into this transformation. So to start off this village transformation, I decided to make a way to get up to this village. Because this village is on this sort of mountainy hill thing, it kind of reminds me of like a floating island that hasn't really detached from the ground yet. But anyway, all that I'm doing is making this sort of rope bridge type thing that goes up to the rest of the village. And now for these houses. On this first one, I decided to go with a similar design to my previous village transformation, except this time I'm doing fewer overhanging bits, and for the bottom here, I really wanted to make it look like it was this sort of pile of cobblestone that this house was coming out of. And I think I did a pretty good job with that, and I really like the way this one looks, sort of like it's just rising up out of a pile of cobblestone. But for this next one, I went with a very different design. I really wanted this one to be sort of like a pile of cobblestone with a roof on top of it. So it's basically just this cobblestone shack. And I went with this design because I think it really fits the theme of this Taiga village, and on top of that, I think it looks pretty good, and I actually end up using it at least one more time in this transformation. And then to finish off this upper terrace, I decided to put in a campsite here because it is a taiga biome and it's a much colder biome, so I think a campsite would fit in perfectly. And overall, I'm actually pretty happy with how this upper terrace turned out, but now it's time to move on to the lower part of the village and start working on that. So to start this one off, I decided to remake this farm here, and for this one I went with my standard cobblestone wall design, which is actually inspired off of some of Fwip's older builds. He actually used a very similar cobblestone wall design in some of his older stuff, and I actually really liked it, so I kind of stole a little inspiration from that. And so for this part of the village, it's just making a few extra houses. And as for this well design, to be completely honest with you, I didn't really feel like making a brand new well, and this default well design is really not that bad. I know a lot of people probably don't really like this well design, but to be honest with you, it's not terrible and it works well with this village, so I ended up keeping it. But to finish off this part of the village, I decided to make a stonecutter building here, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's really just like this open shack with a bunch of stone everywhere, but it looks fine and it works pretty well. So the next part of the village that we are working on is on the other side of this river here. So that means that I am going to build a rope bridge to get to this side of the village, and I wanted this other side of the river to be sort of like the main entrance of the village. And so because of that, I decided to consolidate all of these smaller buildings into one big building and make it sort of like the entrance to the village and also function as sort of like an inn. And I wanted this building to be a little more unique, so I did have part of it cross over the path, and I'm actually very happy with how this building turned out. I think it is the best building in this village transformation by far, even better than the town hall that I end up building later on. But this is all that I'm going to be doing in this part of the village, so now it's time to move back to the main part of the village and start working on the town hall. So I am again building another rope bridge to get to this part of the village, which is going to be where our town hall is. And the reason why I chose this area for the town hall is because it is the perfect size for our town hall, and it's also sort of like this natural pedestal for our town hall to sit on. So I really think this is the perfect spot for this building. And as for the design for this town hall, I wanted it to look like a bunch of different buildings stacked on top of each other. I really like the way that looks, and I think it really catches your eye and makes this the center point of the village. I also put a tower on this town hall going up the middle, and this tower gives you a really nice vantage point over the village. But overall, I think this town hall turned out really good, and I'm incredibly happy with it. Now I do have one more part of the village that I want to build up, and that is going to be a marketplace underneath this rope bridge that we just built to get to the town hall. And so for this one, I'm connecting it from a roadway that we built up earlier, and then bringing it down and around to go underneath the bridge. I think this is a perfect place to put a little market here, and for these market stalls, I did add some workbenches and stuff, so that it does function very similar to a real marketplace, and you can actually trade with the villagers. I think this little marketplace here underneath the bridge is the perfect addition to this village, and it looks amazing. But now all that's left to do for this village is to add some final finishing details. And now that that is done, it's time to see that B-roll. So that is it for this village transformation. I am very happy with how this one turned out, and I do want to do more of these in the future. I think next time I'm either going to do a desert village or a savanna village. I'm not entirely sure which one yet, but I will figure that out when I need to. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this village transformation, and if you guys want to see more of this in the future, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. And if you guys have any suggestions on builds you want to see me do in the future, then make sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below. And don't forget, if you guys want to interact with me or my community outside of YouTube, then make sure to join my Discord server link down in the description. But that's all I have planned for today, so as always, don't forget to keep building.